Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing our work with drawing lines and looking at lines. And today's work is finding the slope. And this happens to be one of my favorite lessons of all time because I just love this process. Found this about 3 or 4 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since. Students seem to really enjoy it. And they seem to get it really well. We are working on the standard LF3, which is to represent linear functions as graphs from equations, with and without technology, equations from graphs, and equations from tables and other information. Find the equation of a line. So in order to both graph the equation and write the equation from a graph, and find the equation of a line, all three of those points, you have to be able to find the slope. So we have to start with the slope so that we can find those other pieces. Just kind of that in-between stage. So determine the slope of a table, given points, or the graph of a line. Those are the three things that are going to be on the quiz next week, so please make sure you're ready for them. You should have already opened up the notes page, downloaded and opened up the notes page. From the notes page, you are going to have opened it in Kami, and you're going to be typing these notes as you work. So please make sure you have the notes page open and that you are ready to go. So the vocabulary you need to know is that we are talking about the rate of change. The first blank you're going to be filling out is the speed. And then the next blank is going to be the slope. So we have rate of change, speed, and slope. And ladies and gentlemen, all of these are the exact same thing. These are multiple names of the exact same thing. These are multiple names of the exact same thing. And what is this thing you call rate of change or speed or slope? Well, slope is the description of how the line changes, represented as an improper fraction. So the next blank that you should have is an improper fraction with the change in y over the change in x. Now, what I want you to write down next to, your blanks, don't forget that it's the y is on the top and the x is on the bottom. Again, the y is on the top and the x is on the bottom. So change in y over change in x. What's most important is if you're being asked to find the difference or the amount of change between something, you're going to be subtracting. So please write very large. Sorry, my mouse died. I tried charging it. It would no longer charge. So I've ordered a new mouse and I am now just making it work. And I apologize that it looks like I'm a kindergartner writing. It is what it is. But it is super, 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 super important. Now, some of the other teachers are going to teach this as y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. And here's what I found. I found students would lose their numbers. They would label them incorrectly, not figure out which one goes where. It just becomes a hot mess. Found the strategy of slip and slide, and it has worked fabulously. If you would prefer to do y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, you are happy to. The biggest thing is don't drop your negatives and don't forget to subtract. All right, so the strategy, slip and slide. What is slip and slide? A childhood toy where a sheet of plastic is placed on a hill, sprayed with water, and so you kind of go slip and slide down the hill. And you'll see this line several times as we do this, but that is why we call it the slip and the slide. And what is slip and slide? It is the strategy that Miss Wood uses to calculate slope. The last blank that you need to fill in is slope. Now, from a table, there are 3 steps. Oh, wait, there are 3 steps for all of them. What I love about this is also that they all are the same. So, step 1, pick 2 points. Doesn't matter which 2. Nope. If you want to pick the first and the last, that's fine. If you want to pick the first 2, the last 2, the middle 2, it doesn't matter. You can pick any 2 points. But the first step is definitely to pick 2 points. Step 2 is to slip and slide. And so remember, I said you're going to draw a line like this. You're going to go down and to the left, or sorry, to the right. And the further you want to go down, that's fine. If you want to go super down far, that's perfectly fine too, but you're always going to go down and to the right, down and to the right. So I'm going to use that one. Now, if you're thinking about this in terms of a water slide at a water park, you've got some people standing in line for, oh, wrong one. The slide on the right, usually like the red slide, and then some people standing on the side for the blue slide. I don't want you to think of which one's the bigger number, which one's coming first. Okay, think about it at the top of a slide. If you haven't been to a water park and you haven't been to a water slide, then we'll find some pictures for you so you can know what I'm going to talk about. The first person that's going to go down the slide, so there's a lifeguard sitting here. The lifeguard's going to say, you can go. So the 35 is going to slide down, and he's going to go all the way to the end before he stops, before he gets out of the water. Now, if it's one of those where you fall into the pool, the edge of the pool is over here. So he's going to keep swimming towards he gets to the edge of the pool. And then the lifeguard's going to say, all right, the next guy can come down. So 25 is going to go down, and he's going to slide down, and he's going to be in the water behind the 35. And both of them are swimming frantically towards the wall. Hopefully the lifeguard doesn't send a third person. All right. So the other lifeguard is in charge of the other line. And so here, the same thing happens. The lifeguard is going to send the first person down, and they're going to send the -3. And the -3 slides all the way down, gets to the end, starts kind of waddling out of the water. -2 then slides down and goes all the way across and starts to try and get out of the water. That's the slip and slide part, ladies and gentlemen. So if you can understand that, then we are good. Okay. Then the last step is to subtract. So please notice that there's a subtraction sign. It doesn't matter that there's a -3 down here. We are still going to subtract. And then this is when we pull out our Desmos graphing calculator. So we pull up our Desmos or not our graphing calculator, our Desmos scientific calculator. Please do not ever use the 4-function calculator. Desmos scientific calculator. And I'm going to ask that for this, you're going to put the parentheses on the top one. So we had 25 minus 35. And then you make sure it's to the end, divided by -2 minus a -3. Now you have to pay attention that you have not forgotten anything. Do not forget your negatives here. Do not drop your subtraction sign. Do not forget your negative here. As long as you put this into the calculator correctly, you cannot mess up. And so the slope of this is -10. All right, you try this one. So pause the video right now. Pause it and actually try it. I'm talking to you. Don't wait until I try and explain it. Actually pause it and try it yourself. Thank you. Okay, so I'm assuming that you've unpaused it at this point, and now you're ready for me to go over it. Again, the first step is to pick 2 points. I don't care which 2 points you pick. Slip and slide. We're going to slip and slide down. So we're going to notice that our 0 comes down and goes all the way to the end. Our negative 125 comes down and goes to the end. Our 0 comes down and goes all the way to the end. The negative 1 comes down and does not go past that 0. And then step 3 is to subtract. So a negative 25 minus 0 is going to be a negative 25. A negative 1 divided by 0 or minus 0 is negative 1. A negative 125 divided by negative 1 is 125. So what is the slope of this particular set of numbers? 125. So I'm certainly hoping that all of you can do that from a table. Now, if I say, all right, now do it given 2 points. Guess what, guys? The process doesn't change, so you should be on page 2 of your notes. The only thing I'm going to say is instead of pick 2 points, because we don't have to pick them, they've given them to us, we're going to stack the points. So you stack them on top of each other, and it's okay if you stack them this way or if you put 145 first. You slip and slide. Do not lose anything. So remember the 15 is negative and we're subtracting. And then you actually put it into the Desmos calculator. So we're going to have negative 15 minus 45 and then 4 minus 1. And you should get, drum roll please, negative 20. Okay, you try this one. Go ahead and pause the video. Please just pause the video right now. Put it on pause and try it yourself. I'm talking to you. Put it on pause. Okay, so you should have unpaused it at this point. Again, stack the points is the first step. Slip and slide. And then don't drop your negatives. That is the most important piece here. Put it into your calculator and it should be a negative 10. Now, interestingly, the steps don't change when we get to this either. What is step 1? Well, step 1 is to pick 2 points. The only thing you have to be aware of is where are those points? Well, the points are going to be exactly where the line crosses through the corners. So we're going to say this is going to be, and this is going to be our points. Now, the trickiest part of this is making sure you properly name those points. If you name them wrong, then obviously your answer is going to be wrong. So that's why we started this unit with plotting these points. So when you do this, it is going to be negative 2, negative 4, and 0, 2. And then you simply, so we've picked our 2 points, now we stack them. So we're going to put 0, 2, negative 2, negative 4, slip and slide. So negative 4 comes down first. The positive 2 comes down afterwards. Do not forget we're subtracting. The negative 2 comes down. The 0, and do not forget we are subtracting. This becomes 6 divided by 2, which is a positive 3. Now, sometimes the particular lesson is going to say, draw the lines. So some of your teachers may have done rise over run, and you're going to count. This is 2, 4, 6, 6 over 2, And so that's going to be 6 over 2, which is going to be 3. And that will come out the same way. I find it's great. Let's just do the exact same process for all of them. Pick 2 points, slip and slide. Pick 2 points, slip and slide. So again, pick 2 points. I'm going to pick these 2. Can you pick 2 others? Absolutely. Pick 2 points, slip and slide. Please go ahead and try and do this. The correct answer is going to be -1, and if you got a -1, then you're doing fabulous. You should be able to determine the slope from a table, given points, or the graph of a line, and you're going to be following 3 basic steps for every single one of these. You're going to pick 2 points, slip and slide, and subtract. Even when you think you can do it otherwise, please pick 2 points, slip and slide, and subtract, and please make sure you use a calculator.